Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Pace Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Wholesale Hotline!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 275. My name is Brent Daniels, joined by the incredible flipping master, Jerry Norton, and the genie that started it all. Started the show over 5 years ago, Jamil Damji. How are you guys?
Phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Look at everybody over here. We got Carson, we got Nathan, we got Daniel B, we got Issa, we got Dad Does. We've got everybody in the chat already participating. So guys, put in the chat any questions that you have, any successes that you've had. We want this to be a really dynamic show that gives you everything that you need to go and take massive imperfect action this week and go out and find some really, really, really great real estate opportunities. So Jamil, where are you at right now?
I'm in Monterey, California, here for the Owners Club first retreat. Pace is here with me, and it's amazing. We're loving the weather, loving the vibes. I've never been out here before. One of the most beautiful places in the country. Just got back from Europe, and I'm so grateful to be in America. I'm just going to say this. Okay?
Do it.
Because you hear all these people on the internet, and there's all these people complaining about where we live. But guys, for real, we live in the most incredible place in the flipping world. Okay, there is no country like the United States. There is nowhere like the United States of America. I don't care what part of Europe or where you're talking about. The reality is there is nothing like America. And every time I leave the country and come back home, I feel so grateful for where we live, for all of the freedoms we have, for everything that we got in our country. And I just wanted to say that when I do go away, it just reminds me over and over and over again how lucky we are, how great we've got it, and that we all owe a huge, huge debt to everybody that protects us, loves us, cares for us, tries to make it better for us. This country is phenomenal. It's amazing. Doesn't smell like cigarettes and BO like Europe does. It's beautiful. It's incredible.
But did you have a good time in Portugal, Jamil? Was it awesome?
I mean, bro, they don't want you there.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want us there. They don't want us there. They do not want. Let me paint a picture for you for a second, okay? I'm in a great restaurant. The guy cooking the food has a cigarette in his mouth. He's wearing a wife beater. He hasn't clipped his armpits. He smells like he hasn't showered in a week. He's knocking ashes into my food. And then when I'm talking to him, he's nothing but a jerk. And then guess what? I've got to pay him. And then guess what? I got to do this for the next 2 weeks because I can't leave this stinking place because I'm supposedly on a vacation. So no. America, 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 America. That's it. There's no place like home.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to go see the world, right? You got to go see it and embrace it and really experience what it's like coming back home, right?
Yeah.
You go there and you're like, wait a second, this is it?
For real, dude. Like another
There's
example.
like a Shane Gillis joke about it. They're like, wait, this is your country?
Yeah.
What is this? This isn't your country.
They can't even get Doritos right.
Yep.
They can't get Doritos right. Like I bought a bag of Doritos. I took a bite and I'm like, what the F is this? If I'm going to buy poison, I want my poison to taste like poison.
Well, it's interesting. You guys know Dimitri. He's probably on. He's on here often from Belgium. So he's a Belgian citizen, wholesale full-time here in Florida, and longtime investor. Been doing real estate for a long time. There he is. There's Dimitri. I see him in the chat. And Dimitri was telling me that in Belgium, you can't even close a real estate deal for like 6 months. So they have like a rule on that. And then your transfer tax or whatever, your sale tax is like 50%. And then the government's got their hands in everything you're doing, everything, it's just absolutely ridiculous, almost impossible to be a real estate investor and do deals and flip houses and stuff. And he does it remotely from Belgium all the way here in the US. And I just love the guy because he has a tremendous respect for the opportunity here. And whenever I think about what he's doing, I can't help but think about all the people that are like born and raised in America that I also get to talk to that have so many excuses about why they can't do it. And it's like, man, you have no idea. You have no idea. Whatever your worst thing you can think of for you in America, you're still in the 1% of the world population. You know what I mean? And so like, don't squander this opportunity you have. Here's what I told Dimitri. I said, I feel like America is the last place you can honestly make your wealth. And what I mean by that is most of the wealthy in the rest of the world, you've got to be corrupt to be wealthy. You got to be in with the government. You got to be doing bribes and payoffs and all this crooked stuff to be wealthy. They will not let you rise above it in most other countries unless you're doing something like that. So here we can at least honestly make our way. Anybody can make their way honestly, doing honest work in America. And that I'm grateful for. Even if we have high taxes or whatever other problems, that is amazing that we can do honest work to make our wealth.
And,
hey, Jerry,
and on the high taxes, sorry, one last thing. On the high taxes, bro, compared to what it is everywhere else,
it's nothing.
I mean, what are we complaining about, man? Like, really?
Anyway. Scott Allen asked you, Jerry, with what you know now with flipping, if you were starting out, would you try to cut straight to luxury and maybe bird dog a deal and partner with a flipper on it, or start with an entry level?
That's a great question. I go back and forth on this quite a bit because when you go luxury, especially super luxury, you're putting a lot at risk. It's a long turnaround time. It's a lot of capital. It's pretty stressful. There's a lot of anxiety. And if you win, you win big. And if you lose big. And so what's better? One killer deal that makes you 7 figures plus, or, a bunch of singles that are reliable. And if you do 20 singles and one of them doesn't work out, or 2 or 3 don't work out, but you kept it safe, which one's a better way to go? So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. For me, it's like everybody's life. I think I had to go through the journey I went through to get up to luxury. Guys, I didn't do my first $1 million deal, like $1 million sale price, until I was probably 15 years into the business. Like I went really gradual, working my way up to get to do some high-end deals. And so I think I would have tried to do that a little faster maybe than what I did. But guys, you got to be ready. If you're going to put $3 million in on a deal and try to sell it for twice that, you better be ready for all that comes with that, because there's a lot that comes along with going for those big swings.
Yeah, I want to add to that, if I may, that there's also a lot less people, because he talked about partnering with a flipper, right? And so maybe the way he's looking at this is, well, it's not going to be my money, Jerry. It'll be the flipper's money that's going to be at stake. And if they're well-versed and they're like you, let's just say, maybe they'll be more inclined to take the risk and do a good job and know what they're doing. Couple of things I want to point out to you in that demographic of potential investor partner, that a guy like Jerry Norton typically doesn't want to partner with somebody. Not saying that you wouldn't, Jerry, but when you're flipping in 7-figure luxury, you're not like, hey, let me teach this new bird dog how to come in and flip luxury with me because they brought me a deal. Because at the end of the day, those luxury deals are easier to find because there's fewer buyers for them. And that's my second point. The second point on luxury is that there's actually more luxury deals available than there are the other deals, because there are fewer luxury buyers out there. And so you're playing in less traffic. And so those luxury flippers, they get to choose. They get to snipe the deal they want. And if that deal comes with the added complication of a partner that is going to be calling them all the time and wanting to show up on site, and maybe being a little bit more of a job for them to have to deal with. I don't necessarily think that's going to be a high value proposition. So my suggestion for you would be play in traffic so you can get hit. Go where the people are. Go where there's a lot of volume of activity, and you will have a much easier time finding a partner, B, buyers, C, success.
Yeah, I think too, Jamil, like everything's developmental, like do a $50,000 deal, then get good at that. Do a $100,000 profit deal, get good at that. Work your way up. No one ever just jumps to the front of the line. We all have to work our way there. There's something about money and making money and profit that you have to also, there's a thermostat switch that has to happen in your mind for that to happen. Like, you don't just go from wholesaling $10,000 houses to doing $1 million deals overnight. There's a developmental process. I'll tell you, when I first, here's what happened to me. I was in Southern Utah. I was building and flipping $1 million homes, like right at the $1 million price point. I wanted to push myself into the next level, which was $3 million. So I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona. My first $3 million deal, it took me 2 years. I lost a couple $100,000. My second one, I broke even. And it wasn't until my third one where I kind of figured it all out and made like $1.2 million. But that was over like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? Before I finally but I played the long game. I went in knowing, hey, I'm going to pay my dues. I'm going to learn this new market, this new price point. I'm kind of in the dark a little bit here. I don't know exactly how to do this right, but I'm going to take the experience I've built so far and I'm going to compound on that as best I can. And I'm going to play the long game. It's not just a one and done thing. I'm going to learn what I need to learn and keep going. And so most people aren't willing to put in that type of effort and time.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. And I think I would really want you to question your motives on why you want to go into that market. Is it because you're looking for that larger payday with less work? Be honest with yourself, right? There's a reason why you're choosing that as your target. What's the reason you're choosing that as your target? And if it's because you want it to get faster and you want to take fewer swings, make bigger hits, and have that be, essentially what it means is I want more for less, then I think your intention is flawed. I think that the universe doesn't reward that intention. It rewards the intention that says, I'm here to work. I'm here to bring it. I'm here to create value, not extract it. So just my two pennies in that.
Well, look at the guys that are doing it here in the chat. Howard has 3 pending deals, a lot of unexpected delays, but I've learned a lot through it. Jerry Lima just assigned his first deal, made $25,000, but an agent brought me the buyer, so I paid her $10K out of my assignment fee. Doesn't matter. We're going to celebrate that. Come on.
Let's go, Jerry. That's awesome.
And Jerry had a question about that. He wondered if is there another way to structure that deal when agent brings the buyer?
Yeah, so I know Jamil's got ideas around this too. Whenever you compensate agents, they're in your back pocket for life now. Like, that guy's going to be bringing you deals forever. However, having said that, I don't always offer that agent money to bring me their buyer. And here's why. Again, I feel this out. I'm really careful about how I do this, but I have a strategy where what I do is I specifically call flipped homes in the same neighborhood as my deal I'm trying to dispo. And the way I do this conversation is I call the agent that represented a flipper and I say, hey, looks like your flipper just did a deal on 123 Main Street. I got a house right around the corner. I think it's right up their alley. They might be interested in another deal. Do you mind checking with them and seeing if they're up for another deal? This one's right. This is almost exactly like what the one you guys just did. And oftentimes that agent is motivated to bring value to their flipper. And they know that if my flipper buys your deal, I'm going to get another listing. I'm going to get paid again on the back end. I'm going to bring more value. And so they're not asking for anything. Now I'll feel it out. I'll say, hey, if there's something you want on this, let me know. If you want to add something on top of my number, let's talk about it. Like, where are you at? And a lot of times they'll say, hey, no, man, let me take it to my guy. He might jump all over this, and I'm happy to bring this together. And so, don't automatically think you got to cut them in, but also be ready to cut them in. If they're like, hey, how do I participate? Dude, you better have that conversation and say, you bring a buyer, man, I'm gonna make sure you're well paid. So what's that look like? Let's talk about it.
I like that. And I think Jerry's philosophy on that makes a ton of sense because he's already seeing where the agent has an opportunity to monetize. There's a difference from how I will compensate an agent when they bring me a buyer versus when they bring me a deal. Because I think they're two different complete things, right? I think when an agent brings me a deal, that deserves to be compensated much higher than when an agent brings a buyer, because the reality is a good deal will find a buyer, but great deals are hard to find. And so I think you did the right thing. Giving the agent 10 grand is a great move. You made 25, agent made 10. I love that. I hope you made 25 and the agent made 10. But if you made 25 and you gave the agent 10 of that and you kept 15, I think that's also good because you structured it where you did better than the agent, which I don't have a problem with. But let's reverse that for a moment. If the agent had brought you the deal, I would have a different opinion. I would say that if the agent brought you the deal, you want to compensate that agent and reward them to do that again and again and again and again and again and again and again. In fact, with agents, when they bring us buyers, we typically tell the agent to add their fee on top. It's rare that we cut them in on our assignment when bringing a buyer, because that's how plentiful buyers are typically. In today's market, though, buyers are gold. And so again, I don't think you made a mistake paying the agent 10 grand. But when an agent brings you a deal, I split my assignment 50-50 with that agent because I want to show that agent that I value them. Again, for instance, Monique Walker brought me another deal today, and I'm going to make 40 grand on that deal. Now, again, of the 40 grand that I'm going to make, I'm giving half of it to Monique, right? But guys, I'm doing 3 to 5 of these a month with that woman, right? So of course I'm going to give her half of the fee.
Yeah, everybody needs to shoot for 30. Just put it in your head. Put it in your brain like a sliver sitting in there. Find 30 people that'll send you one deal, and most of those 30 people are going to be real estate agents. They're going to be people that are talking to people about real estate every single day. So put it like a bingo board or a bingo card or whatever it is, and that you just try to get 30 people that are going to send you at least one deal that you can close every single year. Just one deal a year. You get somebody to do that. And I mean, what's the average deal size right now, Jerry? 20?
15K nationwide?
About 15.
So Jamil gets 30 referrals this year. He's in the top 1% income earners in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't have to work for that lead. I don't have to work for any of that.
Right. What's the cost?
Nothing. I've been in Europe for the last 3 weeks, and I'm away from my home. I'm not near any of my stuff. I haven't called a single real estate agent since I've left town. I haven't done anything. I haven't done any agent outreach. I have done nothing. And I've had 2 deals sent to me, and one of them I've wholesaled. The other one I'm just about to get under contract. But both of those came from agent relationships that I've had for years. And neither of those I had to contact while I was away, and I'm still getting paid while I'm on vacation. And so when I see a comment, and again, this is not to be, I'm not by any means, Randy, I'm not calling you out. Randy's comment says, I hate real estate agents. I wasted 2 years of my life doing agent outreach with no deals. Randy, I'd have to look at your data, brother. I would really want to see what you were doing when you were doing that agent outreach, because that, to me, 2 years of striking out, like, what were you saying to them?
So call me up, Jamil. You've done this a bazillion times. I'm an agent. You want to get some deals from me. Ring, ring. Hello, this is Brent Daniels, the ultimate realtor man.
Brent, Jamil here. We don't know each other, but I imagine we're going to want to know each other quickly. I'm a buyer here in Phoenix. I'm looking for a couple of projects right now. I'm kind of desperate, actually. My crews are super busy. What do you have right now that's in original condition, needing a lot of work? And Brent, here's the reality. I'm the guy who will actually close. I'm going to close on the deal. I'm going to get this done. But I need you to bring me something that needs work. What do you got? And I would really love it, Brent, if you could bring me something that you haven't listed on the MLS yet.
So you're a fix and flipper. What are you doing?
I fix and flip. I buy and hold. I do a strategy called co-living. On the occasion, I bring in other investors that want to take on a project. Let's just say you bring me something that's not going to be in my wheelhouse. I have other friends that do the deals for me. So I'm really an awesome one-stop shop for you, because even if I can't do the deal, I know someone who can.
So are you buying this? Are you one of those like wholesalers? Because I get
whole-
these calls and
Yeah.
then it's nonsense and they don't know what they're talking. It's like there's a traveling circus going on at all times, and they're just training people how to bug real estate agents. And I'm not saying that's you. I work with investors. I work with a lot of fix and flippers. They're some of my best clients, but they're real. You know what I mean? They know their numbers. They can make fast decisions. If I send something to you, are you able to respond to me quickly?
Well, you know, Brent, I love that you use the circus analogy, because, yeah, I've wholesale deals before, but friend, I'm Barnum and Bailey. I'm not the elephant.
Okay. You got me there. What did you say your name was? Jamal?
I'm Jamil, and call me
Jamil.
whatever you like, as long as you call me with an address. So what do we got?
I've got this deal. I'm actually going on the listing appointment later this week. It needs everything. I mean, it's just inherited by a family, and I think they just want to sell it as is and make it as simple as possible. I'm going to just slap it on the market. It's in Central Phoenix over there on Orangewood. Is that something that you would be interested in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I get the delicacy of these probate deals. I totally understand all of the nuance that a family goes through when they're dispositioning one of these types of very sensitive properties. I'm actually, done at least 200 or 300 of these probate transactions. So I would be a great resource for you. When can I meet you at the property? I'd like to take a look.
Well, I've got an appointment there Thursday. Let me ask you this: who do you like for private money?
I like myself. I'm a lender.
Oh, it's you're funding it yourself?
I do.
Okay, got it. Are you working with anybody in town?
Yeah, if I have to use a lender,
People tell me they have money and then they don't have money, and then it's like they don't have any connections. They're not real. You know what I mean? I want to know that you're real, that you actually like have some relationships around town.
Yeah. So are you familiar with Capital Fund One? They're hard money lender here.
Noah's great. Noah's great.
Okay, so you know Noah. Send Noah a text message and tell him you're on the phone with Jamil and see how that goes.
Okay, got it. So I trust that you know him pretty well. Who do you like for title?
For me, I'm a big fan of Fidelity. If I take my business to a company that I know can actually get it done. So the fly-by-night title companies are not really my cup of tea. I go Fidelity Title. Alicia Moore, she's really sweet, and she picks up her phone.
Well, you passed all of my tests, Jamil. I appreciate you bearing with me. I just, I deal with a lot of people that are just messing around or just getting started, and that's fine. But I do deals. I close business. You know what I mean? And I need to work with people that are serious and can close business.
Yeah, me too. And truth be told, had you not interviewed me, I probably wouldn't respect you as much.
Thank you. Well, good. Well, let's do this. Let me go on this appointment Thursday. I'm going to save you in my phone. Is this your cell phone number?
It is. Yep.
I'm going to save you in as Jamil, big time home buyer. How does that sound?
Love it. Love it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
Hey, Brent, have a great day. And you text me an address, man. Let's get to it.
You got it.
Bye.
Bye. Boom.
That's
there
it.
You go, guys.
Boom.
But I wanted to go. Go ahead, Jerry.
I was just going to say, just a real conversation,
Yeah, it's like I wanted to really get into the deepness. Like I want to throw out the toughest questions that people can run across, so that you guys understand. Like the agents that do a lot of business, they don't want to mess around. They're not sending listings to people that they think aren't 100% going to respond and going to respond quickly, and are going to give them a lot of feedback and just over communicate with them. And so some of these agents are going to hit you with a lot of questions like that. Who's your favorite hard money lender? Who do you like for title and escrow? Who do you like? All these things. And if you're just getting started, that's fine. That's the point of this show. It is the motto of this show is squad up. All right. Jamil and Pace decided to do this. Pace and Jamil around the world to try to get all the wholesalers, all the creative finance guys, all the flippers together and just squad up with each other to understand you don't have to do this alone. Okay. If you have never done a deal, great. Be honest. But if you're connected with somebody that's done 1,000 deals and you might have to split, part of your income with them for the first couple, it is worth every ounce of the education that you're going to experience. That's the whole point. They changed the whole industry, going around and being loud and telling everybody, hey, listen, you can squad up with other people and then everybody gets better in this business. Everybody goes faster. Everybody can be more confident and speak with a lot more certainty when they're speaking with strangers that they've never had the experience of speaking to before because they've got somebody that's got their back. It is critical, guys. You have to first make the decision that you're going to take this business serious, and then you got to find your tribe. And your tribe of people are the people that are going to cheerlead you. They're going to support you. They're going to be around you. They're going to uplift you and really have your back. If you have questions, if you have a situation that you're really confused about, whatever, squad up. Thank you, Pace and Jamil, for doing that.
Absolutely. And I would love to role play this another way. Maybe, Jerry, you want to take the next one. But I want to do it.
How about this one, though?
Yeah, I want to do it without money. So how do we, because there's been a couple comments in there, Jerry, that, hey, but we're not you, Jamil. We're not a private money lender. I don't got millions of dollars in the bank. How do I make this conversation and not be lying, but not, look like a total waste of time to a real estate agent? So how do you feel about doing a role play on that?
Sure.
Okay, take it away, guys.
All right. Ring, ring. Hello, Arizona's top realtor, 1% in the nation. Brent Daniels here. Who is this?
This is Jerry. How are you doing, sir?
Jerry, good. Who are you, Jerry?
I'm a real estate investor local to the area on the hunt for a good deal. I see you've got a listing here on 123 Main Street. This thing looks like it's beat up pretty bad. Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah. It's, we've had it on the market. We've had a ton of lowball offers. The owner has a certain price in mind. And if he gets that, great. If not, he's just going to either keep it on the market or he'll take it off and sell it at some other time. So, this isn't really just to cut to the chase, Jerry, this isn't one of those, go and get, lowball offer. I'm not, the owner's nowhere near interested in this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably not your buyer then. I'm probably one of those lowball offer guys.
Yeah,
because I'm cash, and I got to be able to buy it deep enough and spend the money and fix it up and sell it and carrying costs with my lenders and closing and commissions and try to make something. I mean, you get it, right?
Yeah, well, no, I understand that. And listen, the property needs a lot of work, but I mean, if you're going to put in an offer, just let me know and put it in writing and I'll put it in front of him. But just letting you know, he's rejected, probably a dozen offers so far.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's way overpriced. That's why it's not selling. So I just thought I'd check with you and see, hey, what's going on here? If the seller gets real here and wants to have a reality check and they're serious about moving it, I'd love to be in the running with you. I'd love for you to give me a call and let me have a shot at it. But yeah, you're right. I got to be quite a bit under where you're listed right now. So this one probably doesn't make sense. But the real reason why I wanted to call was, when you run into stuff like this, I'd love to be on speed dial because oftentimes it's better for everybody if I can come in and give you a cash offer before you list. Are you open to giving that option to a seller when you sit down on a listing appointment?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If I've got a buyer, if I know a buyer's looking in a certain area, but let me ask you this. Are you buying these cash, obviously?
Well, yeah. I mean, we use a number of different funding sources. It could be, we work with some private money. There's some hard money lenders in town that we can use as well. Also, I work with a lot of other investors that oftentimes I'll pass the deal off to them if it fits their business model a little better than mine. So my big thing is I just want to perform. And so if I commit to a deal, put it this way, I won't commit to a deal, Brent, if I'm not certain I can close on it. So I'll just be totally straight with you where the number needs to be. And then when I commit to it, I'm willing to go hard on earnest money. I'm willing to meet the deadlines and close on time, even if that means I got to bring in some of my other investors to fund it, or even pass it off to one of my investor buddies. Like I got this good friend named Jamil, and he closes on like 20 deals a month. So if I can't close it, I'll just call him up. He'll close it. So I just want to make sure for you, I'm sure the worst thing for you is to not close, not get paid. Nobody likes that. So I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that performs. So,
and how many deals have you done and are doing this year?
Well, I'm pretty new at this. I got started, a year or so ago, and just getting my feet under me. So, pretty new still, pretty green, but I feel like I've got all the right things going, and just looking to make more connections with guys like you that are running into distressed real estate.
So you're looking for the properties that aren't on the market? I'm confused a little bit. You want me to call you before I list it?
Yeah, exactly. That's ideal, because then I'm not competing with the market. You're not competing with the market. The seller's not having to do inspections, appraisals, all of that. And we can just get it done fast. I mean, obviously it's got to fit what the seller is looking for, but I'm even willing to pay you the full commission. So you can tell your seller that the commission is completely covered by your buyer. Then the seller doesn't have to factor that in at all. And I'll pay you the full 6%. Shoot, I'll pay you 10%, as long as it fits the numbers on the deal and we add it in. I do that with some of my agents right now, where I'll compensate them entirely on my side of the transaction, just for bringing the deal.
Now Jerry, we've accepted some offers on this, but it was from a company. I don't know. These companies don't seem serious. I've heard them in my brokerage meeting. They've been called wholesalers. Is that what you're talking about here? Are you talking about you're just going to tie it up and hope that you can sell it to one of your friends, Jamil or whatever you said his name was?
Yeah. So if you mean assigned, or do we sometimes assign the contract? Yeah, we do that all the time. It's actually a great strategy, because some deals just don't fit, but I want to still perform and get the deal done. That way you keep bringing me deals. So if there's something that it doesn't personally fit my buy box on something I want to take down and do personally, then yeah, I've got a really strong network of other buyers in the market. And all I do is I'll pass that deal off to them. You still get paid, seller gets paid. I still meet all the terms of the contract. So, I get it to the finish line, but sometimes that's what I'll do is I'll pass that off. And I get it. There's a lot of people that don't perform. I just want you to know I'm not one of those guys. I perform. When I commit, I perform.
Well, let me tell you how I work, Jerry, with my clients. First, what I do is I get something called a buyer broker agreement signed, just to protect myself, just to make sure that I'm not running out there doing a lot of work for you and don't end up getting paid. Does that seem fair to you?
Well, so I don't exclusively work with a buyer's agent. So if it's a lead or a listing or something that you've got personally, then I'm happy to do a one-off commitment with you on that particular address. Happy to do that. And again, I'm bringing the buyer's agent commission to the table. So if you'd like to represent my side on that transaction, more than happy to do that. If you'd like to tell the seller, hey, you don't even need to cover the commission at all, my buyer's going to cover all of it, you can do that too. We'll just need to talk about what's best for everybody. And then I'm happy to build that into the deal. I just want to make sure you get compensated and compensated well. So you want to keep working with me.
So is this your first deal then?
No, it's my second
deal. Okay. Got it. So just kind of warming up here, just getting started.
Yeah. We're off to the races, but you know what? I'm putting in the work, and we're making some great leeway. We're really, I think, building the long-term business, and I think I'm someone that you want to take a shot with, take a chance with. I guess I'm asking you, take a chance with me, and you'll see that I'll come through.
I like these comments here, Jerry. They're like, yeah, right. You sound very experienced, bro. It's not your second deal, but guys, that's it. It's just having a conversation. By the way, have you guys ever screwed up a conversation with an agent or a property owner ever in your lives? Have you ever screwed up 2 or 3 or 10 or countless? How many conversations have you screwed up?
So many,
right? And by the way, the comment is really beautiful. You know, the comment of, yeah, but we're not Jamil. I'm not Jamil. I don't have the money. Guess what? Guess how Jamil got the money? Guess how he got the money? Isn't this beautiful, Jamil? It's this full circle experience. You know what I mean? You were that person. What, 2020, 15, 14, 13, 12?
12. I moved to Phoenix.
2012. So that's you 13 years ago. Okay. Right. 13 years ago. How many years did it take you, Jamil, of after everything was lost, after the crash of 2008? How long did it take for you to then just become a millionaire?
Well, I had to pull my head out of my butt for 4 years. So from 2008 to 2012, I was trying to be a stand-up comedian, and that was not leading me to becoming a millionaire. So once I ate that truth that I'm not that funny, I then got serious about real estate. And, you know, I moved to Phoenix December 12th, 2012. I'd say that I had $1 million in cash from wholesale fees, probably within a year and a half of that. Maybe two.
And from how? From what?
Straight assignments, bro.
What? Not luxury flips?
Not a chance.
Not being a realtor, listing properties?
Everything. Wholesaling everything. And look, for those of you that are worried about sounding brand new, right? Okay. Let's work on it that way. Okay? You're brand new. You want to do one more of these, Brent?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right. One more.
One more with you being brand. Like, what's
brand new.
You're brand new.
Yeah.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hi, is this Brent Daniels?
The one and only, yes. Top $1 million producer, Brent Daniels, realtor, and CMS, CRMs, TPT, BBBs, SSSWY. I've got all the trainings. So bring it.
Well, Brent, thank you so much. And I appreciate all the credentials. The reality is I need someone like you.
Yes, you do.
I'm actually brand new. I'm a brand new real estate investor. I'm just getting started. I work a W-2 job, but I've been learning a lot. I've been, putting myself in some good circles. I've been around some great people. I've been able to figure out funding sources. So I've got some cash available. I've got some great lenders lined up. I've got a lot of people counting on me that want to see me win and get a deal done. But I need a guy like you, someone who's got experience, who knows what they're doing, who understands where I should be buying something at, because I don't want to mess up. And I really don't want my wife to leave me. And if I do a bad job on this first deal, I'm probably going to be in that boat. So because you are the most accomplished real estate agent that I could find in all of Arizona, what do you say you change a guy's life today and help me find something that's a little beat up? Do you got something I can see that looks like that? You're
looking to do a fix and flip or what?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I don't really know what we'll do, but if I can find something that I can add some value to, I've got people around me right now that will be able to help me figure out what to do with it. So all I need is the opportunity.
What price range are you looking?
Well, I like to stay in the price range where there's a lot of buyers. My friends have said that if I do deals that are in $500,000 or less, I'll have a much easier time in my exit, in my purchase, and all of those things. Plus, that's a risk I can take and not get completely bankrupted. And so that's where I want to stay. I want to stay in that $500K and under price range. Unless you've got a better idea for me, because you're the guy with all the credentials. Where do you think I should be?
I think that's fantastic. I think you got to be careful. Right. I think that the inventory is really increasing right now. So things are sitting around longer. So it is really critical that I give you the advice, the expert advice from all of my experience selling dozens of properties, that you price it right off the bat. So I'd be very conservative with the numbers that you're working with in this market.
I appreciate that advice. And I think that That's the reason why I've been led to call you. So Brent, I've been looking at this listing on Zillow, on 123 Banana Street. They want 300,000 for it. If you were going to be my real estate agent and write the offer for me, where do you think I need to buy this house at in order for me to not lose money on it?
Well, I'm looking at it now, and it looks like it's been on the market for 92 days. So you're going to have to, it's going to have to be significantly lower than what they have it listed for here. It's listed for 300. I think fixed up this thing goes for 350. They're crazy at 300. My suggestion would be, because you want to have a good deal that's guaranteed, market's coming down, I think you need to be probably closer to 180, 200 on this.
All right, let's give it a shot.
You want me to write up an offer for you for 180,000 on this property at 123 Banana Street?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to need a proof of funds, and I'm going to need at least earnest deposit. Proof of funds?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. It's proof it's proof that you can buy the property. You either have cash or you have approval from a hard money lender, private lender.
Yeah, I've got that. So I'll definitely reach out to my lenders and I'll get that. I can have that in a half an hour, no problem.
Who do you have it from?
I'm not sure the lending institution's name yet. I do know that they are asset based, so they'll lend just based on the I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Daniels. I might sound like I'm frustrating you, but the reality is I really need to get a deal done. I really need to do this, and I'm counting on you. I think that we can get this. We can really knock this out of the park. And I do have lenders, and I'm sorry I don't know the names of them offhand. I will get you that name within 20 minutes.
Well, I'm going to need that in 20 minutes, or I'm not writing this thing up. You know, I'm very, very popular. I'm very busy. Okay. I'm very angular. I'm very in shape. I love running and exercising and being centered. Okay. And if I can't have it in 20 minutes, you're going to throw that all off. All right. And so 20 minutes, I need a proof of funds. And also you're going to need at least 2,000 for earnest deposit.
Can I put it on a credit card?
I mean, I guess you could get a cash advance.
I'll figure it out. I'll get it to you in 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you 20 minutes. Listen, I think that you've got a good heart for this business, but you got to show me more. You got to show me that you really want this deal.
I love it. I'll call you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. Mail.
But why did I do that? Why did I do that? Because the truth is that if you put the guy or the lady in a position of authority and you give them that spot and you say, "Hey, help me," how many people will turn that down and be a total D-bag to you? Not a lot.
No.
People love it when you make them the smart one.
You did the secret move. You did the secret code. This is the cheat code. Hey, I need your help. That is the cheat code for this business. If you say that, as opposed to the fake it before you make it, as opposed to fluffing up your personality or your experience or whatever else, if you go with I need your help, holy cow, you're going to build strong relationships.
And one thing I like too, I try to do this often, is Brent played a really good agent because he had a big ego, and most agents have huge egos. And so when you ask them, like, well, what do you think it'll resell for? What do you think the repair budget should be? And this isn't a newbie or experienced thing. I do this all the time. I say, well, I'm looking at the back end, and what do you think it'll go for? If I fix it all up, what do you think it'll sell for? I got a number in my head right now. What do you think the repairs would be on this one? And what you're doing now is you're allowing that agent to step into a place of authority. They're feeling valued. They're feeling like you respect them. And then that builds trust. Whenever you help someone else feel like their opinion matters, they instantly feel trust to you. So Brent, on one hand, Brent's like, this guy's a tool, doesn't have a clue what he's doing. But I'm feeling so good being the big shot here that I'm going to help this guy out. And I'm going to go ahead and write this offer for him. Right? See how the ego kicked in for Brent. And Brent's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to help. Wait till I tell all my buddies how I helped this new investor get a deal. Like that starts going on.
Well, and you're right. It cuts both ways, right, Jerry? If they're so good, then they should be able to go in and get these contracts accepted. You're the best, right? Like I was told you were the one that like you were really good. You do a lot of deals. So I assume that you're really good at negotiating. That's what I need help with. You know, it's the cheat code, guys. I'm telling you, it's awesome. Here's a question from Latasha. Question: I need help getting proof of funds. I don't want to lose out on my first deal. Can someone please point me in the right direction?
We offer one in our Flipster system. So, or if you're in my Finder program. So if you go to joinflipster.com, if you're a pro or prime level member, then we do unlimited proof of funds, and they're custom to the price and to the address and to you, right? So those are letters. It's not a bank statement. If you can, I mean, those are always better if you can get those, but this is something that we offer all of our students in that program. But Jamil, I think you guys offer like a hard proof of funds, don't you?
Yeah, I can. You can reach out to me on socials, and if it's a deal that is something that I might be interested in lending on, I can get you a bank statement. But I shut my actual lending, commercial lending down. My proof of funds were just getting doctored. People were being super weird with them out there, and so unfortunately, it wasn't safe for me.
We actually had to take our phone number off of it and just make the agents go to email. Now we'll pick up the phone if they email us, but because we were just getting bombarded with these rude agents, anyway. But I think it's important. I think it's important. Anybody who's talking about proof of funds, I think it's important to understand the difference between a soft proof of funds and a hard proof of funds. Soft proof of funds is basically a pre-approval letter. It says you have a relationship with a lending institution that will have the funds available if the deal meets specific criteria, right? So it's sort of like saying, hey, there's backing here, but this deal's not underwritten. Hard proof of funds is either liquid cash in an account, or it's a full approval from a lender that says, I've underwritten this deal at this price and I will fund this deal. So, what I found is about 90%, Jamil, maybe you have a better idea on this, but what I found is about 90% of agents are okay with a soft proof of funds. It like checks a box. It's included with the offer. They pass it through. About 10% they're going to call. They're going to want to talk to somebody. They're going to want to make sure it's actual cash. They want to see, the money in a suitcase or a brown paper bag before they're going to believe it. And so what do? You just got to deal with that agent that is that way when that comes up. Yep. And one thing I'll do is they'll say, look, I understand you want a hard proof of funds. I can't go to my investors and get that until we have a contract on a property, because they're not going to underwrite the deal if I don't have it under contract. So I'll tell you what, give me 5 or 10 days contingency. Let's get the contract in place. Let me go take this to my lenders. I'll bring back that full approval in that window of time. And if I don't, then we can bust up the deal. Those are just some things that you have to do to work around that sometimes.
Awesome. Nell Smith asks, how do you guys pull tax delinquent property lists, and do you have scripts? How do you like doing this, Jerry? Do you do this?
Yeah. In fact, we've got in PropWires, one of our premium leads, we have tax liens. So, those are great lists. We have all kinds of liens, but tax liens is one of them. But honestly, for me, when I'm doing any type of seller lead calling or marketing, I try not to really distinguish what's the situation that's going on. So I don't want to call up and say, hey, I heard there's a death in the family, or hey,
can I role play this one?
What's that?
Can I role play this one?
Absolutely.
I'll call you, Jamil.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. I was looking for Jamil.
You got him.
Hi, Jamil. My name is Brent Daniels, and I know that this is completely out of the blue, but I was calling about a property that I believe you own on 1212 Banana Street. Is that your property?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually just calling to see if you would consider an offer on your property there.
I mean, I get these calls all the time, and usually, how did you get my number?
It was on the internet. Yeah, it's attached to your address.
Okay. And who are you again?
My name is Brent Daniels. I'm a Joe home buyer.
Oh, is you a real estate agent?
No. I actually buy properties.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I've considered it. I've been, having some health struggles over the last little while. I've been kind of falling behind on some things, and but it just hasn't been a priority for me. And so it might be something that we'll look at in the next 6 or 7 months, maybe.
Got it. So what's special about 6 months or 7 months? If I could get you an offer that makes sense now, and you got your cash, but you could stay that long, would that be something that would be interesting to you?
Maybe. The reality is that I feel like this could be a really complicated thing, and I'm going through some health stuff right now. And so for me, I just don't want to add another complication to my life while that's all going on,
Yeah. I read once that your health is the last thing you think about until you get sick, and then it's the only thing you think about. And I've certainly been there.
Yeah, it's kind of my situation at the moment.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that. So, well, can you tell me a little bit about the house? That way I can, put together some sort of offer for you, or at least we can keep the dialogue open over the next few months.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good house. I've owned it for about 15 years. It's been a rental. I had some really great tenants in it until the last one. And then the guy that's there right now, he hasn't paid me in about 9 months. And we've been trying to, get him out, but it's been a process. It's a whole thing. It's just, it hasn't been easy. And then I got sick. And so, I haven't been able to really deal with it. And he's still there. The guy's
That is tough. That is the worst. Yeah. Trust me, I've been there before, and it is just a battle to try to get them out of the property or get them back on their feet. I totally understand. Is it a month-to-month lease, or is it like a long-term lease that you have with them?
Well, no, it was a year lease, and their year's not up, but they messed that up a long time ago. They haven't paid in a while, and so I have grounds to evict them. I just got to go through that, and it's my things are so hard right now that even handling that's been tough.
A lot of the people that we work with, Jamil, they put that on us. They want us to adopt that tenant, so to speak. So they actually sell us their house without us having to go into the property, without us having to do inspections or appraisals, because we buy them with cash, and we really know the area, and we have a good idea of what the properties need to if we need to invest money to fix them up or update them at all. I don't know much about the property, so I don't know what would need to go in there, but most people just put that on our shoulders. Is that something that I could take off your plate?
So you're telling me that you'll buy my house, you don't have to get inside, I don't have to deal with this occupant, and how much will you pay?
Yeah, I don't, I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but it looks like, you bought it 15 years ago. I could see some of the older pictures. Have you done any other major remodeling, or has it been any other, roof or air conditioner or anything repaired?
Yeah, I mean, the air conditioner has been repaired quite a few times, so I think it's in good running condition. I've made a couple of repairs to the roof, so I believe that that's really in good shape. And I've had my tenants been doing renovations inside the home. Every time, the one tenant I had in there was there for 5 years, and I think he remodeled the whole thing. And I've never seen it, but he told me he did.
Yeah, got it. And if you were to just throw something out there, I'm not going to hold you to it, but just kind of a range of what you'd be looking for price wise.
Well, I know there's a lady in the neighborhood who got somewhere around 400,000 for it. And so I would love to get that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So if I could get you around that 400,000, I adopt the tenant. Maybe we can move up that timeline. I mean, I don't want to put too much on your plate. I know that you've got way more.
6, 7 months is because I want to get through my situations so I can deal with it. But if you're going to deal with all of the headaches and get it done, then I can do it much faster.
We do it all the time, Jamil. It's a different way of selling. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but there's no real estate commissions. There's no closing costs. Any offer that I give you is a cash as is offer. You don't have to put another cent into the property, and we take over all the headaches. I mean, that's what our company does. That's our whole That's why we're around. So, I mean, for something like that, if I could get you around that 400, I'm looking here. I don't know if I can. I gotta talk to my finance manager, but if I could get around that and adopt that tenant, would it be worth me or you and I meeting each other and going through the purchase agreement?
Yeah, you figure out what that number is going to be and call me back.
Yeah, you got it. Is this the best number for you?
Yeah.
Are there some days that are better to call you versus others? I know that you got a lot going on.
You just give me a try, and if I'm available, I'll answer, and if I'm not, I'll call you back.
All right, I'm going to text you my number just so that you know it's me when I'm calling in. And it's not some random number again, right? And if you could just save it in as Brent Homebuyer, that would be great.
Brent Homebuyer. Okay.
That's it.
I thought you said your name was Joe.
No, Joe Homebuyer is my company name. Kind of confusing, but I'm Brent at Joe Homebuyer.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Brent.
All right. Good talking to you.
Bye.
Bye. There you go. So guys, listen, when you call somebody up, there's only a handful of responses that you're going to get, right? You're going to get
That was
yes.
great, by the way, Brent, that you're
Well, you truly hit me with the hardest one. The hardest one well, after you went for the number one, which that one's easy. The hardest one is I'm not sure. That's the hardest one. The maybe is the hardest one. Okay. When you call somebody up, ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. They can only tell you yes, no, maybe. How much will you give me? Who are you? And how'd you get my number? That's it. There's only 6 of them. There's only 6 responses. And if you can learn how to respond to those responses, you're going to be able to keep the conversation going. That's all I wanted to do. You could feel that like I wasn't trying to be too slick. I wasn't reading things. I was kind of hesitant and kind of going through this and that. You don't want to be too polished, in my opinion. In my opinion, you don't want to be too polished. If you're too polished, people are going to think that something's happening to them, almost like you're hypnotizing them or something. Right. In those deals, in my opinion, this is just my opinion and experience. When you can do that, you can get really slick, but those deals fall out. Those deals fall out. They do.
They do.
Yeah.
They feel like they've been taken advantage of, or something happened, and so they do fall out. AAA in the comments says it never goes like that. Buyers are not friendly. I think he means sellers are not friendly.
I know.
And so let's address it, right? Because I think there's truth there. Of course, I've done direct to seller cold calling before, and I've of course talked to some really, really rude people. But that's not 100% of my experience. It's about 70% of my experience. The other 30% of my experience is actually quality conversations. And so AAA, what I would like to suggest is that there may be a volume issue here. You might need to be making more calls because, you're going to talk to some angry people. You're going to talk to some uninterested people. You're going to get hung up on a lot, but you're going to talk to some people who need to hear from you. And that's the reason why we keep going.
That also greatly depends on your marketing channel too.
Yep. Well, and I'll tell you this, the secret sauce, if you're doing outbound, is your tone of voice. You got to confirm and approve everything that they're saying. Don't add friction to the relationship. Don't add friction to the conversation. Don't tell them that 400,000 is ridiculous. Don't tell them that they should sell now. Don't try to do that. They have to come to the conclusion themselves, right? There has to be some deep discovery here. And I didn't really get into it too much on the first call, unless they're an expressive personality. They're typically not going to spill the beans. You gotta go through a couple reps, AAA. But what I would say is, if you use your tone of voice, I could use my tone of voice, and before they hang up, I could keep them on for at least 2-3 extra minutes. And you don't always want to do that because it's not really efficient. You want to spend, time with people that'll actually have a good quality conversation with you. But I will tell you that if your tone is friendly, you sound like a neighbor, you sound like you're down the street, this is where you can really get people to kind of give you the time of day, melt their force field. I say that all the time. And we've done a ton of deals like that. I mean, my first $1 million was exactly these calls. That's all I did. Found ugly houses, called them up, and asked them if they would consider an offer.
That's it, folks.
That's it.
I got to run. Got to go meet Pace. We are starting night 1 of our retreat here, but I had to be here for episode 275. I wanted to say hello to everybody in here that is joining us, new, returning. You're phenomenal people. Every one of you who are here today, you're flipping amazing. You're doing it. You're showing up. You're listening to the things. You're watching what you're supposed to be watching. You're doing the stuff. So just be proud of yourself, because you're one of the very few humans who shows up and does something. So thank you. Thank you for watching 275 episodes of the show. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Jerry, for being the best friends a guy could have. I love you guys. Take care. You guys carry on.
Face for us, Jamil.
I will absolutely do that. Take care, folks.
Yeah, see you, Jamil. You're the best. Papa Bear in a chair says those were the most ideal role plays I've seen. You want to practice winning, guys. You don't practice losing. You don't practice people going, no, I don't want to sell click. There's no practice there. It's like it's like you want to get good at shooting 3-pointers, but you're shooting from the stands every time. Like, it makes no sense. You have to practice like things that you can actually win at. Now, there can be complications. There could be changes in the tone of voice. There can be pausing. There could be different situations. But you want to practice to win. You don't want to go in to role plays with somebody to crush them with nobody that will ever sell their property to them. That's ridiculous. There's no point in that. Just move on. You don't want to practice like getting stomped on and keep that going forever and ever and ever and ever. Just move on. If somebody's an asshole on the phone, I hang up. That's what happens. You know what I mean? So there you go.
I like Valeria. I don't know how to say it. Let's see where to go. Valeria. See your question there? She said, I have a question. Am I doing too much or extra by first wanting to learn how to be a closer to build communication skills remotely for high ticket offers? I think the question there is, learn sales before you start doing calls. Is that the question, Brent, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, no, not at all, because this is on the job learning, I mean, certainly the more sales skills you learn and acquire, the better you'll be. But guys, honestly, 90% of this business is just showing up. If you just show up and do the calls and have quality conversations, I call it the stars align, where you have a seller ready, you're in the right place at the right time, and a deal happens. And that's not a skill thing. That's a showing up thing. Like, just show up, and you don't need to have any skills whatsoever. Offer, anchor low. If motivation is there, you'll get a deal done, and that's it. All the rest of it is just improving your game, like increasing your close by 10% and 1% every year from there. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever think that you have to become expert at this before you actually start. If you think that, then you'll never start, because there's always something else you need to learn. I mean, I feel like I have so much still to learn. So it's not that at all. It's just getting out there, picking up the phone, and you're going to learn doing the reps way faster than you ever will taking some kind of sales training or working as a sales rep somewhere first.
I've interviewed a lot of people, Jerry, and a lot of really great. I had my acquisition manager, Ryan, and he's closed well over 10 million in real income for the company. And I asked him how many sales books he's read, and he read the first chapter of Split the Difference. That's the only book that he read. That's it. Now he wanted confidence. He wanted to understand some of the things that were he wanted to understand the purchase process. He wanted to be able to answer questions and sound like an expert when it came to the process of what happens next. That's what I would get really master. But I will tell you this, you're either born a closer or you're not. Okay. I'm telling you this is going to save a lot of people a lot of heartache. Now, this doesn't mean you can't close for your own marketing and your own business and do that, because there's loss aversion. It's going to make you sink your teeth into it more. It's almost like you hit that star in Mario Brothers and you're like, like invincible, right? But if you're going to get a job to be high ticket, or you're going to be a job to be an acquisition manager, and you need a lot of training, you will not last. you will not last. It needs to be part of you. You need to be natural at human communication. I'm sorry, you do. And you could go through a bunch of courses, and this isn't just for Valeria here. I assume that you're got natural talent, but if you don't, and you're trying to like force it, and you're trying to do that and try to get a job as like a closer or sales, stop. Just don't do it. Would you agree, Jerry?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, if you've got it or not, if you're a natural closer, because you're doing sales well before you're doing sales, and you're going to have a dynamic, charismatic personality. People are already following you, listening to you, like you're just naturally that way. And some personalities are, and you're going to be, your biggest challenge is going to be, you're so good that you're lazy because you hit your commissions on Tuesday and you stop working the rest of the week, right? Like that's the challenge I have with really talented closers is they're lazy because they're just so good. So whereas someone that's not so good and they got to work hard, man, they take work ethic as their skill set, and they're far superior than all the natural talent I've ever seen because they just work harder than everybody else. So you're not at a disadvantage if you're not naturally good at sales. I'd rather take someone who's not naturally good at sales, but they can do the calls for 8 hours a day and they're working hard. They will far surpass anybody with a bunch of natural talent.
Blair says, hey, I need your help. I have a $3 million property, new constructions. He wants $3 million. He's willing to take $950K if he can have 6% interest and like 5-year balloon. The home is worth $3 million. Jerry, right now, say, is this a deal or not a deal?
Well, yeah, that's a deal. But is there any money down? So is it zero?
$950 down.
Oh, $950. No, that's the price, isn't it?
No.
Oh, he'll take
$950 down, 6% interest in a balloon in 5 years, Jerry. He wants the full market value.
Oh, okay. Well, no, because why would you buy retail?
Thank you.
Why would you buy retail?
Right.
I don't know. I'm old fashioned. I don't buy anything that's not a good deal. I don't. That's
right. Yeah. Listen, the rule of thumb is 5, 10, 50, right? You want 5% or less down. You want a 10-year balloon in this market or more, and you want your monthly payment to be 50% of what you can lease it out for. So write it down, 5, 10, 50, 5, 10, 50. And just that is your rule of thumb when it comes to owner finance deals. If you can get less than 5% down with a 10-year balloon and the monthly payment is 50% of the lease, you've got a smoking deal. Yeah. You should lock up as many of those as possible. You should be raising as much funds for those deals as possible.
And you don't have to keep it. You can wholesale that for a premium.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Let's see who we got here. East Point Property says, hi guys, who can you recommend for cold calling companies? Do you have anybody that you like, Jerry? I got a couple.
We really like Run It Remote, and okay. I can put a link in there, but that's Eric Klein's cold call company. We've seen them do pretty well with them. And what I like about them is their cold callers are overseas, but they have a 2-step process. So they record the calls and then it goes to a third-party verification, and they listen to the call and verify, it's actually a lead before it comes over to you. So I like that. Kind of filters out and makes sure that you're not getting stuff that's a waste of time. And they're really reasonable. I think it's like $6 an hour, so for 40 hours a week, you have to commit to 1 month, and it's like $1,300. It comes with a dialer, and I think that includes the list and the skip tracing and everything. So, I look at it like this. If we can close, you're going to get about 1 to 2 leads a day with that cold call service. So if you figure that's about 50 in a month, you should be able to close 1 in 50 cold calls, warm cold calls. So,
yeah.
So
if they're filtered, if not, it's more like 1 in 70.
Yeah. So, if you're spending anywhere $1,500 to get one contract, that's pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah. I've used call motivated sellers forever. But they're the Rolls Royce, right? They're more like 20, 25, $30 an hour. Americans, either living here or living abroad, making calls all day, and really like have a tremendous amount, in my experience, of critical thinking skills, and can really get past some of the guards that the sellers put in front of us, and they've been phenomenal. So you guys, there's two options there. You got the $6, you got a $30. What do you want to do? You know?
Yeah, the $6. I mean, all they're doing is, do you want to sell? Great. What's your name and phone number? I'm gonna have someone call you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all you're getting.
Yeah, that's right. Guys, who do you guys want to see on the show? Will you guys put it in the chat? Is there anybody that you're just like, oh my gosh, that is an unbelievable entrepreneur, real estate investor, whatever? I'd love to get your guys' feedback and thoughts there, so that we can get the best guests on the show, because they all want to jump on. We just got to organize it. And so if we know who we're going after, Robert Kiyosaki would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. We could get him. We can get him for sure. But it, yeah, let me think about that one. Let me think about that. We got Ryan Zolan. Excellent. Donald J. Trump. Okay. We'll try our best. Cody Hoffine was just on 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Chris Voss would be good. Monique Walker. We can get Monique Walker back on. We can get Cody Sperber on. I don't know. Mark Moss, Remy, something Rialt. RJ Bates was just on. Grant Cardone would be a good guest. Jeremy Minor. Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I think Pace has every single one of those people besides maybe Donald Trump in his phone. So we'll see what we can do. But that's awesome. Antonio Edwards. Awesome. Ant-Man. You got it. Ken McElroy. He's been on before. We'll do that. Awesome. Yeah. We'll try to get Pace at some point. That's a great point. He was on last week, by the way, so you guys missed out on that. So absolutely incredible. Samuel says Steve Trang, you got it. Chris says Thatch and Win. That would be great. Sean Terry and King Kong. King Kong would love to come on here. Be great. We've had Tarek on, El Musa, Cindy. That was we've had Zach Ginn on, guys. I mean, we've had no problems there. They're the ones that get goofy with Jerry, I guess. And so that could be interesting. Tony Robbins would be a good get. That'd be good. Thank you guys. Perfect. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, we'll get him. Tom Kroll, you got it. Awesome. Well, we've got our work cut out for us, Jerry. So we'll make sure that we get that for everybody. Jerry, what do you like right now? I mean, I know that you love the PPC leads that we've been sending you. What else besides PPC is really working for you?
We're doing pretty well with PPL. Again, if you've got the budgets, then spending the money for inbound leads is, it's always going to put you at the front of the line. Brent, it was interesting. You and I were texting earlier today, and, honestly, guys, what you and I were talking about was the key to all of this is really making sure you're going after high equity, high motivation. And I think there's something there, because when we're able to really get in front of sellers that have that motivation, there's distress going on, and they have high equity, then you've got all the options, right? So you're not limiting yourself, because when there's high equity, you can go to the very bottom and offer all cash. And if that makes sense, they can take it. And then you can also offer all the other situations. You could do innovation. You could do creative finance. You could just list it for them if you got your license. Like, you've got, everything's open to you when you go high equity. So that's probably my number one filter, Brent, with everything we do is we want to really target high equity properties as one of our most important filters. And then we can add on and stack on top of that other things. But man, I want to talk to high equity sellers so that I can get those deep buys.
Guys, if you are pulling lists and doing marketing, whether that be direct mail, whether that be cold calling, whether that be text message marketing, Those are pretty much the ones that you really zone in, pull addresses for to go after. Make sure that they've owned it at least 7 years. In this market, I would say 10 years. Start there. Start with 20 years and see how big your list is. If you're like, I can only afford to get a list of, they can. What does skip tracing cost with you, Jerry?
Oh, geez, we're about to launch. Where you get 10,000 for about $100.
Okay,
it's pretty cheap.
Okay, so
one off for 10 cents, something like that. So it's pretty cheap.
If you're like, I'm gonna hand dial, I can't afford a dialer right now, I got to do this like really bootstrapped, I would highly suggest that you go at least 20 years, see how big that list is. If it's not big enough, then go 15, then go 10, then go 7. But make sure that they've owned it a long time. That doesn't guarantee, because Jerry, one of my problems is I put in the equity percentage and it's off. It's just weird. It's not right. The equity percentage, but usually when I put in 7 years of ownership or more, they have significant equity. And a lot of people aren't pulling out like, HELOCs or refining right now since 22, but since interest rates raised, right? So most of the properties that we go after have significant equity in them.
Yeah, so, Brent, this past weekend, last week, I did a live training here with my fast track community, and one of my students came, and he's doing this model right now where he's doing low equity with agents. So, and he's doing a sub-2 pitch, right? Now, nothing wrong with that strategy, but in and of itself, like if you isolate it, nothing wrong with that. But here's the problem. I said to him, look, you are actually targeting a sliver of the market. And on top of that, you're going to agents. So now you're taking only listed properties and you're taking properties with low equity, and you're starting out there on the spectrum of opportunity.
Yeah.
And I said, so what you've done here is you've created a very niche within a niche type of strategy, and you're going to struggle with that. I said, how's it going? He said, well, I can't even do a single state. I got to do multiple state. I think I might even have to go nationwide to do this, because he's just not finding enough opportunity, and he's doing okay. He's done like 15 deals, and but then on the flip side, he also has to JV. He wholesales them. So he has to JV on the wholesale because he's in a market he doesn't know. So he has to align with a player there, another wholesaler. So now he's giving up 50%. He's making his business model so much more complicated. I said to him, why don't you just go high equity? And if somehow you're talking to somebody that doesn't have high equity, you know how to put the deal together, but now you've opened up the entire spectrum of opportunity. And there's so much more properties to go after than there are with low equity, right? I mean, like, that are willing to talk to you about selling their property.
Yep. 100%. Howard asked, I have a seller who is willing to agree to my price, but with the condition I help her relocate. How should I handle this one?
Dude, we do that all the time. I mean, that's the value add you bring. Yeah, I'd say no problem. We can definitely help you. In fact, we'll roll that in. It's not even going to cost you. Now, it's going to cost you $1,200 or whatever. You know how cheap it is to get a packing crew out to the house, pack everything up, take it to wherever, we'll put stuff in storage. We'll find them a new apartment. We'll give them post occupancy. We'll release earnest money early. Dude, you got to bring the value. And that's how you get the awesome deals that you wholesale for 50 grand. I love when a seller needs all those things, because I'll offer all that help and support. No one else does. And I'll get the great deal.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's interesting, Howard, when you can refer somebody to a really great real estate agent. I think the packing and the helping them move and hiring the movers is something that we've done, I don't know, on half the deals that we do, Jerry. You know what I mean? Especially with inherited properties where the family's like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed with everything going on here. And so just solve the problem. But what I usually find, Howard, is we'll give them all these resources and then they'll just go live with somebody for a little bit and figure it out. They always figure it out. You know what I mean? And so it's another thing if they're using it as an excuse of, yeah, I do need to sell my house, but I have nowhere else to live. I have no friends. I have no family. That's a whole different story. Like that, those leads are the ones that are like a tar pit, because you get stuck in that lead and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a great lead. They want to sell. The house is in rough shape, but they live there for the next 20 years, right? Because they literally, it's like there's nowhere else for them to go. So you have to really dig in and get deep in the discovery to see, do they truly want cash for speed and convenience? You know what I mean? Is that the best path for them, or is their best path to stay in the house? So you got to do that discovery and just be honest with yourself, and don't try to force or convince anybody to do anything. It's not going to work anyway. There's a great question here from Dimitri. Brent and Jerry, where has the competition gone to? Feels like they're all gone. Far more deals than wholesalers right now. Can't even keep up.
And he's on a 6-hour time change.
Yeah. Listen, I talk about it on here, and I'm sure people that listen to every episode are annoyed with me saying this, I don't know, once every month or two, but batchleads.io did a report in 2021, maybe 22. I think it was 21. There's 90,000 people and they spent like, I don't know, a fortune on this study. And there was apparently 90,000 wholesalers, right? Recently did it. There's 12,000 now. From 90,000, 12,000 to 90,000. And I will tell you this, in the last 3 years, 23, 24, and now 25, our assignment fees have gone up in 25 from 24. They have gone up in this market.
Yeah.
And that's because the sellers understand this isn't the land of just gold and rainbows and birds chirping anymore, and everybody wants to buy the house, and they'll throw ridiculous prices, and they'll sell all their bitcoins, and they'll liquidate their S&P 500 and buy all of these properties because it's so wonderful and your house is so wonderful. That's no longer around. Interest rates are higher. Sellers aren't in the driver's seat right now, and it's a boring market. And I love boring markets. And the people, and I watched Jerry, and it'll never happen like 08. 08 was a whole, it's a moment frozen in time, in my opinion, that we will go down that much. It's just the signs aren't there. The foreclosures aren't there. The banks are working. The loss mitigation departments in the banks are working to keep people in property.
There's hedge funds now that will buy up all that inventory. That's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen again. But I will tell you, when it did, I saw more of my friends become millionaires in like an 18-month period than ever before. Now you got to fight for it. Now you got to fist fight for it. Now it's like a 5-round, like a UFC championship fight every year in this business. It is. You got to really fight. But when the market's going down and you have cash when everybody else doesn't have cash, holy cow.
Yeah, I think Brent, like you said, boring, the hype's gone. So all the fly-by-night, get-rich-quick crowd, they're all gone. People that put in a minimal effort and leave anyway, they're not drawn to it right this minute. So guys, if you're a fundamentalist and you're willing to do all the normal business practices, like actually build a business, actually put skin in the game, meaning invest in what you're doing, invest in your marketing, invest in your team, invest in learning how to do this, you are going to kill it. You are going to absolutely do amazing in this business. There isn't a better opportunity in wholesale real estate than right now if you're willing to do the work. Now, if you want something for nothing, you want to show up and put a half effort in and make a bunch of money, that ain't going to happen. But if you're willing to do what it takes and lay the foundation, build a business the right way, do the boring stuff Brent talks about, then you're going to see tremendous results. That's Dimitri. Dimitri's consistent. He does it every single day like clockwork, and he gets results.
That's right. From halfway across the globe. He's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Listen, if you have conversations and make offers, you win. I'm a broken record on that, but that's it. It's undefeated. If you talk to enough people and you make enough offers on properties that are ugly or in ugly situations, you're going to win. And most of the deals that we do, these properties are destroyed. I mean, cash is the only option. So when the sellers are looking at it, they go, do I put it on the market or do I not put it on the market? And when we get these leads in from pay-per-click, Jerry, you know as well as I do, they're like, we don't want to put it on the market for XYZ reason. We don't want it to be on the internet. We want it to close in 48 hours. We don't want to touch anything with it. We hate real estate agents. We want to guarantee that I just want this off of my brain right now. There are so many reasons people don't put their properties on the market. We are the solution. We need to get loud. It is our responsibility to be as loud as possible for that tiny sliver of the United States population that wants to trade price for speed and convenience. They do. That's it. That is our whole thing. So if you just look at that and understand that we're trying to find that 6%, 6 to 10% of the real estate market that's in distress, and then that sliver, even smaller than that, that'll actually do business with us. That's what we focus on, not the people that reject us, not the people that want retail, not the people that want to refinance and pull all their equity out and do something with it, not the people that want to just re-rent out the properties or fix it up themselves or hire real estate agents or whatever else. That's for off market. Jerry, why don't you get on your soapbox for on market deals?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, that's a very much a relationship driven thing and a consistency thing. I teach this thing, Brent, called the 5-5-5 method, which is every day call 5 listed properties, make offers, call 5, just outbound cold outreach to any agent in your market, 5 of those conversations. Those are 5 minutes. You're just going to say, hey, I'm looking for a deal. You got anything? Right. And then 5 follow-ups. So call back 5 people you talked to 2 weeks ago. That's 15 conversations a day with agents. If you guys do that every single day for 30 days, you're going to get a deal because the stars are going to align. You're going to be in the right place at the right time, and an agent's going to have a deal for you. You just got to be consistent with it, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Awesome. Jerry, what do you got going on this week?
Oh, what do we got going on this week? Well, I got to fly tomorrow for 2 days back to Puerto Rico, check on the hotel and my big project out there. Then Friday, we hit the road doing a 4-day road trip from Tennessee up to the lake house in Montana. Then we'll be there all July. So yeah, lot going on, for the summer.
You travel with all the kids?
We're taking 8 of the 10 on this trip. So we're actually driving 2 15-passenger vans for 2,000 miles.
So do you guys split up? Do you drive one and Anne Marie drives the other?
Yeah, and we got older kids, so we'll make them drive some too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and what are you gonna list or maybe you already listed your property in Costa Rica?
Yeah, in Puerto Rico. It's
Puerto Rico, sorry.
Yeah, we listed at 8.5.
Nice. Million.
And, yeah, and we'll see. I mean, I got a lot of room on it, so I'm kind of starting there. We're all in for 3.5. So, I think I'll be all right on it.
Jay Levis, I believe it's the absolute best plan ever. I think that wholesaling real estate, assigning deals, finding discounted properties. Wholesale to me is the art of finding discounted properties. And it always is the best place to start.
All that's going to change is our dispo process.
That's right.
Because finding good deals is finding good deals. It doesn't matter what else is going on around us. If you get good at acquisition, which is identify and find good deals.
Yep.
Regulation might affect how we, what we do with that good deal. Can we do an assignment? Can we do a novation? Can we do a double close? Our equitable interest is under attack, but getting a good deal is the foundation of all real estate investing. So learn how to get good deals and everything else is easy. Like I really believe get a good deal. Everything else is easy because the money will be there for you if you need to buy the thing and then resell it, or a buyer's going to want it. Just get good at identifying and contracting good deals, and the rest is easy.
Awesome. Perfect. I want to show you this, Jerry. I got a new, hey, Matt, can you zoom out? I got this new camera and it moves around. It does all kind of crazy stuff. Look at this thing. Boom. Zoom it out. There we go. Move it around, baby. There we go.
How far away is that from your desk right there? Is that far away?
Probably 15 feet.
Wow.
Zoom all the way in, Matt.
So what are you shooting at?
It'll autofocus here. What's that?
I can see your nose hairs. Are you shooting 4K?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're upgrading, baby. But it doesn't go through StreamYard that way. Anyway, guys, join me in perfect clarity on Wednesday. That is at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. I'd love to answer any other questions. We're going to have an unbelievable show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have some great guests, and most importantly, just interact with the community and chat with you guys, and just really build a really great community, really great ability to connect with everybody, but two, to make sure that any of the tools, resources, advice that you need, you get it answered. So join me on Wednesday. Jerry, awesome. You done?
Let's go.
We good?
Great,
all right,
great
brother.
show.
Great show. Thank you guys all. We love you. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channels, go to Jerry Norton, go to Jamil Damji, go to Pace Morby, go to Brent Daniels, subscribe to them all. And also we have a 7-day-a-week, 365 a year podcast, Wholesale Hotline. Go check it out on all of your podcast platforms. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.